Hi everyone, Maryalice here with Change Your Aim, Change Your Life. This is video number 3 on our subject of From Chance to Change to Take Charge. This is part of the change part where we talked about last video all the things that went into us as infants, our environment, the people around us, the things you heard, the things that they said, the way they spoke, their ideas, their belief systems, all went inside you, down into your subconscious. And we're not aware of it when we're children, especially babies, but it goes in. It's not something that's ignored or goes away. So remember, I had you find out what life was like when you were a baby, or even when you were being formed in your mother's womb. What was life like for her? Because all that, even when we're being formed, affects us down to our cells. So, and it doesn't mean it's not anything we can't get over or change if it was negative. So don't worry about that. That's why I'm doing this series, so you understand that. So we're going to continue with this part about how do we live by chance? What does it mean to live by default? Well, we're going to go on to a little bit further for when you're older, a little older in life. And if you remember, this represents, the stick figure from Dr. Thurman Fleet from the 30s kind of represents our mind. We can't really see our mind. We know we have a brain. Our mind isn't the brain. But our mind makes up several aspects of who we are, which is spirit, which is our thoughts and feelings, which is the belief systems that we carry inside us from what people gave us to believe a long time ago. So, I mean, this is how racism starts. This is how hatred starts. If a child is brought up in a home where there's racial hatred, they're going to learn that. We don't come into the world feeling that way, hatred toward other people. It's taught. So if you think about what's going on in the world, and they want to throw religion into the mix for Pete's sake, you think God has anything to do with this? No. But people they grow up believing that God has something to do with this, that you have to believe like they do, or oh my gosh, you're going to go to hell, or we're going to kill you, or, I mean, look what's going on in the world in the name of God and religion. We know that's not of God. So God is of love and grace and mercy, of oneness, and the list can go on. And so we need to learn what is inside us that we don't want anymore. So once you did that whole homework I had you do about when you were an infant and a toddler and all the things that you were exposed to, the good, the bad, the neutral, the not so good, we're going to talk about the effects of that, because we're going to go into the actual times of abusive behavior that you were exposed to, that you were a victim to. So, okay, in here, in our brain is set up for survival and to learn and to take in all that we can. You know, we try to remember things and we learn things and have our plans and our math quizzes. You know, everything we learn in school, we have to keep it in our brain and remember that it's there. But as far as feelings and emotions and experiential events that happen to go on with us, that's what really penetrates into our subconscious, into that part of the mind that we can't always access, but it's always there and it's always influencing us every single day, 24/7. So let's say you had kind of a, you know, this is hypothetical. Let's say you had an okay childhood, like your parents were pretty good, and all that went on within you, everything they said, everything they did, that you had no control over, because your subconscious, your mind doesn't, you have no filters. As a child, you have no say, and you don't have a way to say or understand that what might be going on around you that's negative is not okay. You know, fighting or alcoholism or hurt or pain or trauma or abuse, you don't have the capacity or the understanding to say, that is not okay, don't touch me, or don't talk like that, mom, or don't do this, or don't say that, dad, or don't, whatever that is, we just take it in because we think our parents are God, so what they say must go. So let's say it was more on the negative side than the positive. So you have these X's represent hurt, pain, misunderstanding, maybe an ambivalent attachment to your parents. You didn't know if you could trust them. And then you had, I'll use green for like, you know, happy moments. Maybe you had a nice memory of a happy birthday, nice memory of a nice Christmas or something like that. So you have this mix here inside you that you're not even really aware of because we don't recall, we don't remember really well certain things in our life when we're that young, but it's in us, but we feel it. So what happens is all the negative parts and the positive, but we'll stress the abuse. Let's say you were abused. I know for me it started very young. I think I was 6 or 7 that I can remember. And it was sexual abuse. And it terrorized me. I mean, it terrorized me, and I had no outlet. I had no one to go to talk to because I was threatened. And so I carried this with me as a little girl. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? What happened to me? Why is this happening to me? I don't understand it. Although intuitively I knew it was wrong. I knew it was weird. I knew it wasn't right. But yet I just didn't know what to do. So what happened was I kind of imploded that information. So here, all these little X's inside that I couldn't push away being so young, what happened was I began to think that I was a big X. So let's say I'm over here. Okay, here I am, this little girl. You see the stick figure? But I became the X. The X just wasn't inside me where I could erase it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how to erase it. I didn't know. So it stayed there. So these feelings of insecurity, of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I must be ugly, why is this happening to me? And it began to made me feel very self-loathing and self-conscious, and I dwelled on that so much internally that I didn't know how to present myself, and I wasn't taught how to present myself. And when it was, I couldn't accept it, that I was okay, or that I was a good child, or that I was this or that or the other thing. I struggled in school. I had dyslexia. Nobody knew what that was back then. You know, in the early 60s, they didn't know. So that made me feel really dumb. I was always struggling. So here we have all these belief systems. So what was it for you? I want you to, here's some more homework. I want you to take time to figure out, what was it for you? What did you start believing when you were being abused, either verbally or sexually? Or perhaps kind of the dysfunction in your family that was there. What did you start believing about you? Now that you can put words to it, when we're young we can't. But intuitively we know that things aren't right, but we still can't verbalize it. So as an adult, how would you verbalize that for yourself? What did you feel? What did you feel? I'm going to show you how you know how you felt, because up here, this part of the brain is our thoughts, okay? These are our thoughts. We have thoughts bubbling up inside us 60 to 70,000 times a day. Just these random thoughts. I'll get back to that in a minute. Down here is our feelings, because our thoughts create our feelings, which is why I ask you every day, where are you aiming? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Because what's going to happen is how you're thinking and feeling is how you will be to the world. What's your behavior? So your behavior is a result of what you're thinking and feeling. So if you're thinking and feeling, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, there's something wrong with me, I'm ashamed of what happened, I'm humiliated, I'm embarrassed because of the past, and you don't even have that as a conscious thought, but that's what's in you, bubbling up. So I don't really want to make this so messy that it's not making sense. But so what you have is bubbling up inside you, goes up and down, up and down, up. So you're living this cycle of pain and insecurity and unsureness, and you're not sure why. Or maybe you are. And what happens is that just completely makes it a flat line for you to really succeed in life. And it's costing you. It's costing you money. It's costing you your self-esteem. It's costing you friendships and healthy relationships because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe you're good enough or smart enough. But you know what? You are. You are. The fact that you're watching this, I know it's not an accident. And I know this is a message you need to hear. And I'll quote Les Brown, who is my favorite mentor. You have greatness within you. You just don't know it. That's why I go back to here. Your essence, and I use the heart as a symbol. When you are lit up and flowing and feel good about yourself, about life, about what you're doing, doesn't mean perfection. It just means you're grateful for where you are and what you can learn and how you're growing and learning. That is your essence. And that's what, if you could see the yellow, it's like your energy is sparkling. But when you feel depleted and not so good about yourself and confused and there's these issues inside you, man, that light's going to be dim. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just means it's dim. And you can change that. That can be changed so easily with a decision. It doesn't mean it's easy or quick necessarily. Time's going to march on anyway. If you took this date right now in January, took this date, wrote it down, and you took 1 year of doing 1 or 2 things differently every day in your life toward what you want to have, be, or do, in 1 year, you will be flabbergasted at your success and the improvement that you've made in your thoughts and in your feelings and who you are and what you pursue. Again, I'm not talking about ego, inflated ego. No. There are parts of ego that are really good because, there are parts of the ego within us that get us out of bed and, make us look decent and show up and be friendly and, have manners and etiquette. Because we want to be liked, we want to be presentable. That's important. It's when we don't have that we're in trouble. So there's that positive part of ego, but when it's inflated and you think you're better than, or I'm better, or whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what true self-love is. True self-love comes from God and the essence within us, and being humbled and grateful by that, and accepting that and seeing that in other people. Okay, I digress a second, but I hope that this stick figure is making sense for you and that you actually do the homework, so that you actually write down in your journal or a notebook or something where you can identify for yourself words, put words to it, like how did you feel as a child being abused? What was going on? The fear, the doubt, the anxiety. And then the next video I'm going to talk about how did you cope? The coping mechanisms of all that. Again, all this is covered in Shatter, Shame, and Shine, my book. It's available on Amazon. It's there to help you. You can get it on Kindle, so you're not spending, if you feel like you're on a budget and you can't spend $9 for the book, you can get it on Kindle. I just want you to have the information. And it goes in much deeper than this. And my workshop goes even deeper. And if you hang on and stick with me, I'm going to share with you how you can get access to and invest in yourself to get the workshop on audio. It's about 10 hours of me sharing with you. So we'll talk about that later. But here is what I want you to know. You're not a big X. That's shame. That is the shame that's showing up. You feel like if you make a mistake, oh my gosh, I am a mistake. And that's not the case at all. At all. It's just a blurb, and we all make mistakes and we get hurt or we hurt others, and you just kind of erase that little X. That's all. You're not a huge X. You're not a big mistake. And that's the tendency we feel. And then when we feel that way, we have coping mechanisms that make us overcompensate for those feelings in negative ways. And again, the next video I'm going to talk about that. So thank you. I hope that this, you know what? I don't hope, I trust that you're getting this. I trust it's getting up here for you. I really want you to know this information because it's going to help you. It really is. Keep going over it if you don't understand. Keep watching these videos if you're trying to understand what I'm saying. Write me at maryalice@changeyouraim.com. Ask me questions. I want to hear from you. Go to my website, opt in, and that way we can be in touch with one another. I don't send spam. I don't spend crazy emails. I'm not that kind of person. You're lucky if you hear from me once a month. But just do it if you are interested in this information and you too want to be a voice. You too want to stand up and help other people who've been victimized so that they can live a life of thriving and not just surviving. That's what I'm about. We can put that in the past. And you know what? It can be the stepping stone for just who we are as magnificent people when we really delve into how it can shape us for the better instead of always falling into the victim mode, because we don't have to do that. Okay, so here you are, guys. You're not a big X. We just have these formations inside us that we just need to block out one by one. We need to erase them. And I'm going to help show you how to do that, okay? So thank you for listening. Again, this is Maryalice Coleman. This is the third video from Chance to Change to Take Charge. I want you to take charge. I want you to thrive in life, okay? You don't have to be embarrassed anymore. Childhood abuse is prevalent in the world, but we don't have to keep it in the dark. We don't have to keep pretending it's not going on or that pretending that it didn't happen to you, because when it does, it stays in the dark. We don't want it there. We want it in the light. I want you in the light, and I want you to be in the light. I bet you want to be the light. So let's go for it. You are loved. You are amazing. You're a miracle, and you matter, and thanks for being here. This is Maryalice. Take care.